Good evening and salutations, my General Hospital fans. Let's start with Diane for a minute. So after Alexis, Gregory, get into the shop and they see Dex over Diane's body, at first they're just like, what is going on? But eventually they do help try to stop the bleeding and call the cops and everything like that and get her to the hospital. And Finn in this episode was talking about anti-venom. After Brando's death, they want to sit there and be prepared. So towards the end of the episode, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna sit there and try to take whatever shot I can get to try to save her life. Now I'm looking at this whole thing and I'm just like, I don't know. For me, it's just hard to care when it comes to Diane's character because they never really treated her like a character. And what I mean by that is like giving her her own story, giving her whenever Diane is on screen, it's great. When she's doing her lawyer scene, when she's just on screen in general, it is great. The problem is that she's always there for someone else. She's either playing Alexis's best friend. She's usually repping somebody, either Carly, Sonny, or Michael. But she's haven't really gotten a story. And it's insulting because she's been on the show for a very long time. And you look at the people that got there now, like even Josh has more of a story than Diane. You got Rory, Cody, Dex. They got more of a story that's going on than Diane. So it's really hard for me to be invested. It's hard for me to be invested if she's going to live or die because it's like, okay, cool. She's just going to come back and be like, oh, I'm going to sit there and rep you. I'm going to rep you. I'm going to be your friend. It's like, no. The most interesting thing I actually found out about Diane throughout all my years of watching her was when she said that she had to shoot somebody in self-defense. That's it. That's it. That's the only kind of background that we really got from her. Is she still going out with Max? Like what is going on with her life? Like, give her something to do. Or, because it just sucks. It sucks in general. It sucks as a fan of hers. And it just sucks. I don't really know what else to sit there and say. Um, Valentine and Anna's scenes were just unnecessary. They were unnecessary to the story. They were unnecessary to my life. Um, Valentine just talked about all his regrets that he had of being a bad person, and now is a lot of his sins falling upon her, his daughter, as far as like enemies that may come after him, and Victor, holding her in some sort of fancy boarding school that she's having the time of her life, but he's just complaining about it. And then after that, then they make love, and I'm just like, great. I don't need to see scenes like that, okay? I really don't. I'm an adult. I know what intercourse, what people do behind closed doors. I'm good. If I want to sit there and see stuff like that, I have a vast library of that. I'm good. Um, Now Cody isn't there waiting for Britt, and Cody keeps getting eyes, from Robert and Felicia and Mac. One sec. And those three isn't there talking about him being a suspect, Dominique, stuff like that. So Cody is already feeling comfortable, and he calls up Britt. And he's like, "Oh, let's go bowling. Let's go to a dive bar. Let's go somewhere else." Britt ain't dressed for that. Britt is dressed to go to the Metro Court. That's where Britt wanted to go. And Britt was like, yo, listen, if we're not going to the Metro Court, then we're just not going out at all. I'm going to be honest, by that tone of voice, it seemed like she didn't even want to go out in the first place. But she wound up getting there. She wound up getting there, and she immediately realized just how uncomfortable Cody is with, all three of them just kind of staring at him. And, Cody's all like, oh, I have a bad history of law enforcement, and, it seems like they're trying to set me up or whatever. Anyway, Mac and Robert leave, and Felicia decides to, well, pretty much crash and ruin their date. Not like his move was actually any better because all three of them was eyeing them. But, she gets over there. She's all like, oh, so you're having date night and stuff like that. I'm like, Felicia, what are you doing over here? Why are you sitting there ruining this man's date? By a date that doesn't even probably want to be there, but why are you ruining his good time? They get to talking and they start talking about Mac, and Felicia doesn't really want to answer a lot of questions. She's like, yo, listen, here's his phone number, call him up. This is a conversation that you and him need to sit there and have. So she leaves, and Britt is just like, at that point, the mood, the energy, whatever you want to call it, is done, is donezo. And she's like, you know what, listen, we're just going to call it a wrap. And, she leaves. Cody picks up the phone, picks up the number, and it seems like he's probably going to sit there and give her, maybe call him. I feel like we're not going to find out if Cody is Mac's son for like another 3 months, which is really stupid, but I feel like this is where we're going to go. And it's probably going to be right around the time of November sweeps. I guess that's when they do their sweeps or whatever. But the sad part is when you sit there and think about sweeps, it's like, oh man, this is going to be like, the month they're really going to do something. Like, why do you guys wait until your ashes is practically on a line as far as like sweep numbers and stuff like that is concerned? Like, every month, every day should practically be sweeps month if we're really going to be honest about it. But some odd reason they feel like that's the time they can step up and kind of pick up the pace. Like, people will have patience to sit there and wait. Another scene that was kind of didn't really go anywhere was Ava and Nicholas. So Nicholas, the letter that was inside, like the envelope and everything like that, is pretty much a confession. Isn't it? They're saying that he's the one that killed Esme, and just gives details and stuff like that. But Ava's like, that's not good enough. Which is like, okay, it's really not good enough to be honest. But I don't know what you really want at this point. So Ava's like, I want it in video form. What's the difference? It's his handwriting. He's literally not there giving a confession, but sure. So she takes the recording of him, admitting that he did all this stuff and that he slept with Esme and, all that other stuff. So she takes it and she's like, all right, well, this is pretty much kind of a start. I just look at this whole thing and I'm like, when it comes to his infidelity, there's only two roads to take. There's really no middle ground. You either tell this person to kick rocks because you can't forgive this person, that's totally fine, or you work on forgiving this person, but what you don't do is resent this person along the way. If you're gonna sit there and say, I want us to try, whatever, then you don't sit there and be resent this person every single day that you're with this person. Um, and granted, we all know that Ava wants to forgive Nicholas. And I'm like, bro, at some point you're gonna have to sit there and make a choice. Like, seriously. When Mac gets to the crime scene and after taking Diane and everything like that, Mac is like, bro, this is 3 times that you've been in an active crime scene with Ava, with Brando, and now Diane. This ain't a good look. But Dex was like, yo, listen, I'm not saying another word without my lawyer. So he decided to take him downtown or whatever. And I'm pretty sure, here's the thing, they don't really have enough to hold him, like to keep him, like lock him up or anything like that. And, Michael still wants the job to get done. Sonny does not want Dex to probably, that's actually a good question. Was Sonny actually just didn't be like, did you have anything to do with it? I mean, to be honest, again, it's not a good look. So I'm just wondering if anyone's going to sit there and bail him out. Or if they even actually have anything to hold him on. I mean, the only thing they can really do is hold him for 48 or 72 hours, and then the guy has to sit there and spring him. And that's it. That's something else I noticed about Brando and Diane. You know, Brando actually started off with a really good story, but then he ended up wound up being Sasha's crutch. He didn't really seem like he had anything else really going for him. And I guess they just felt like he hit a ceiling. And so he's done. Now Diane is the next person that got caught up. And I'm like, they haven't, I can't remember a point that they ever really gave Diane a story. She's always just been there to, be somebody's lawyer, be somebody's friend, but not actually be their own character and come in with a good storyline. And now she's good, now she's been targeted. And it's again for those two, it's very hard to be like, oh man, I miss those two, and it's like, I mean, you guys already have a bunch of people on the show, and yeah, granted, we could sit there and trade Diane for Alexis, and we can trade Brando for all three of Cody, Dex, or Rory, but those characters also kind of hit a ceiling. So there's that. I feel like we're going to be seeing some more scenes with Yuri and Terry, since there was some flowers that was sent to Terry and everything like that. And hopefully, if the actor decides to stick around, we'll get some more scenes with Terry and stuff like that, which would be good. You know, it's unfortunate that the last guy left because then she was without a romantic interest. But I guess we'll just see what happens. I feel like that's about it for the most part. Nothing else really of importance that I can think about really happened. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. But before I go, I'm gonna leave the little link or the thing at the end of the video. So for the people that didn't know, me, DC, and Brock TV did a collab. Just a soap talk or whatever, mostly talking about General Hospital, but then we kind of spiraled off to talk about YNR, BMB. It was a lot of fun. We went way past the time that we were supposed to go, as far as doing. So definitely check it out. I know it's about 2 hours, but it was a lot of fun and it was really good. I mean, it was always good in there, working with DC, but working with Brock TV was great as well. So definitely check out that video. And with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.